This fellow is a former Hill record holder, probably held it more years than anybody else. From Lowell, Indiana, number 392, Mr. Hank Leader.
Hey guys, can you believe it's time for Ride of the Month already? This is going to be a really good one, and I'm so excited to share this one with you. I'm spending the afternoon with my brother-in-law Heath. We're going to walk around his collection of 41 Fords that him and his father have collected over the year and go through each one and talk about the things they've done to him. And of course, like this series does, all about the memories and the stories behind that. And he's going to share that with us also. So this video today is exactly what I want this series to be about. It's just incredible to listen to Heath talk about these vehicles, especially the memories he made with his father, but also just his knowledge of them is just incredible. It's like a walking encyclopedia. So I learned so much. I hope you guys enjoy this. One thing I do want to point out is him and I both make a lot of references to the hill climb. Just in case you aren't familiar with what that is, that's a reference to the Newport Antique Auto Hill Climb, which is held in Indiana first weekend of October every year. I'll put a link below. You can get more information about it. You kind of find out what about it. Here's a couple pictures from when we were there. I've been trying to make a video there. It's just one year is a global pandemic, the next year is the weather. So at some point we'll get a video from that event. It's an incredible event. And there's a fun fact about it is it's the third largest auto event in Indiana, which is saying a whole lot when you compare it to the Indy 500, Brickyard 400, NHRA Nationals. And I mean, that says a whole lot right there, because those are some pretty major events right there. Anyways, this isn't about Newport. I just wanted you to know what it was in reference to when he talks about the hill climb, and especially when he references his father and the records his father had. So grab some popcorn, sit down, watch this one to the end, because there's a lot of good information. It's incredible looking vehicles, a lot of work done to them to get them to the condition they're in. So enjoy. Welcome to 41 Garage and Grill. If you like Jeeps, going on adventures, and occasionally throwing something on the grill, then this is the place for you. So hit the subscribe right now. I'm with my brother-in-law Heath, and we're in his garage right now, where he was nice enough to let me come in with the camera, and we're going to show off all these Ford pickup trucks he's had, and hear the story about them, and just another episode of Ride of the Month. But this is going to be a really special one, just because there's really cool trucks here, and I think you're going to really like it. So Heath, appreciate you letting me come in. And
thank you. Thanks for having us, and appreciate this. And thought we'd have some 1941 vehicles for 41 Garage and Grill, and you got the garage and no grill, but you got everything else. So
right, that's going to be awesome. So he has 5 trucks here. I think what would great. We're trying to talk about what to do here, because it's just like they're all so cool. So we're going to just kind of walk around them and tell the story on each one of them. So let's do that. Okay, so this is the first one. We're going to take a walk around, and Heath, if you don't mind, just kind of tell the story on where you got it.
This is the latest one. This is the one that I built, probably I think 2013, just kind of our rat truck. We went through nothing fancy, just kind of threw together. It started just the frame and a bear cab, and pieced it together with leftover parts that Dad had and everything. Nothing fancy, just a driver, something to cruise around with, something to race up the hill, whatever we went to, and just a fun truck. This, I recently just added, we take this down to our hill climb every year. I know Carl's done episodes about Newport Hill Climb. So we did this just to have the truck down there, something to cruise around with, and haven't even raced it lately, but just something down there to putz around with. And the inside.
Out of all of them, it's more or less, I won't call it your daily driver, but it's probably the one you take out most often.
Yeah, something you're not worried about. You just want to have fun and pile everybody in the back and race up a hill, maybe have 8 people in the back, and if it breaks, it breaks, and we've been there, done that, and fixed it up, and we're on the road again.
Quickly tell the story on that. So all I can tell you is I asked to go up the hill with him, and jumped in the back end. And
Carl was riding shotgun. I said, that's fine. And By the time we pulled up the starting line, we're looking back, about 8 people in a bed. The truck is kind of squatting down. I said, well, okay, I guess we'll make this work. And yeah.
Chairs and everything.
Yeah, chairs and everything's back there.
And then adult beverages and
yeah, that might have been. So I said, we'll go up the hill, and of course you got to get on a little bit, and took off all right, and slammed it in second gear, and bam! And Carl said, what was that? I said, well, there goes the transmission. So, but that's happened before, and we got her fixed up, and
yeah, we were able to limp around, and
just over the summer, I pulled the engine out, painted it red. It was the factory green color before, but I went red. Did the white firewall, kind of wanted the hot rod look to it, so I did that. Redid the wiring. It had some iffy wiring on it, and about a year ago, the wiring caught on fire, and you can still see where the battery got melted a little bit, but we went through and fixed it up, rewired it, and it's just a good, dependable truck. Jump in and go. It's got straight pipes on it and sounds good, and so not exactly hill climb legal, but just something to have fun with and a good driver.
Awesome.
And then we might have to show the inside if we want to. And sometimes, well, even the old guys like it better than the young kids. There's more old guys that do it than the kids do. Inside, kind of like Carl has done on his Jeep too. We got some license plates, we got some stuff, we got some old signs. Just basically whatever you want to, and just have fun. So yeah, and the glove box open if you dare. So if you're brave enough and open it, there's some leftover critters in there. So they came with the truck. They were under the seat. They'd been there for a while, probably older than Carl and I, but they were there.
Consider those critters barn finds.
Barn finds, yeah. I didn't have a glove box. Actually, the glove box is just a half of a case of a Miller Lite, cut in half and just stuck in there. It's a perfect size, so it worked. And all the wheels are like that, but there's an actual date on those wheels. Really? So you can see the 3/14/41. So some of these wheels are actually date coded. So March 14th, 41.
We're done with the rat truck. We're going to move over to this one, and we're going to let Heath take it from there.
Thank you. Yeah, probably one of my favorites. And the other 4 trucks here were Dad's truck. And growing up, I always worked on these, and I was always there when he bought them, and all the wheeling and the dealing and the trading. But about 1987, we bought this truck out of Wisconsin. Restored it. We probably spent 3 years restoring it. Took the cab off the frame, so body off restoration, and it's a beautiful truck. The other rarity, this is a 4-cylinder truck. So most of the time, like the rat truck, you see it's got the flathead V8. This is a 4-cylinder, and what it actually is a tractor engine. So about the 9N Ford tractor had this engine, and that's basically what this is. We call it our tractor truck. And there's a few of these out, but not that many. I mean, probably just maybe 1,000 or 2,000 that are out there. So it's a pretty rare truck. So we spent a lot of time tracking down the parts and trying to get like a fuel pump. And tractors are gravity fed; they don't have the fuel pump, so we had to find an actual fuel pump for this and get the wiring harness, get everything. But after years of working, we tracked down the parts and got it fixed up pretty nicely. We went to a national show in Detroit, Michigan, in 2018, I believe it was. And actually scored 917 points out of 1,000. So it's not perfect, but it's up there. I just remember helping Dad growing up, restoring his truck, and just piece by piece doing stuff. And
so I think you were telling me from the trucks, this was the first one into the family.
Yeah,
right?
1987. This is about one of the first trucks we had. I think we had one in '85, but we sold that truck. But this, in terms of the ones that we kept, we kept this one. Most of your trucks had the floor shift, had 3 on the floor. This is actually a factory column shift, 3 on the tree. So that is a rare option they had. And to find that goes with the 4-cylinder truck is a pretty rarity. The 4-cylinder had a different transmission, so to find one that is a column shift, it's a kind of a 1-to-1 type deal. But we got everything back together, restored and fixed up, and it's authentic, actually numbers matching truck. The only numbers they have is a number on the top of the transmission and a number on the frame, and it matches. It's a very short VIN number, like 4 digits, but it's actually a numbers matching truck. So,
Heath, when you talk about restoring this truck, you guys did motor work and stuff, and then somebody else painted, or
we have. We got a lot of guys. We got an engine guy, we got a paint guy, we got a carburetor guy. We got a guy for about everything, but pretty dependable truck. So, it's, like I said, probably one of my favorites. It's just I remember growing up, and it's a fun truck. Not a speed demon. It's about 50, maybe 55 if you're going downhill. But it's
so
just
the Willies would have a chance against the Sun.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't beat it, but at least it would have a chance.
I think we're talking about times. This one, I think, when Dad raced it turned about 50 seconds.
Oh,
so around 50, so you might be able to get
a
it.
chance.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, this is only 120 cubic inch. So I'd say it's geared low, but about 55 you're peaked, and that's not all the faster you can go. So.
Okay, so we're moving from 4 cylinders to 6 cylinders. Truck number 3.
So yeah, another rare vehicle here. And this is kind of Dad and I, our intention to have one of each. In 41, you get a 4, 6, or a V8. So here is the 6-cylinder. Carl and I were just talking. The 4-cylinder is rare, probably only a few thousand, but the 6-cylinder I'd say is even more rare. There's no production numbers on them, but I mean, Dad and I since 1985 been into these trucks and looking at them, and counting this truck, we've only seen 3 41 6-cylinders. There's probably more out there, but we've seen only 3 of them in person. So, and this is kind of one of the neatest ones, I think. And then the story on this one in, I think 1995 was it? We found this, it was advertising, but up in northern Wisconsin. So we go up and we look at it. Dad always liked to wheel and deal and dicker back and forth, and they were about $200 a part. I said, just buy the stinking thing. I said, I've been searching 20 years, just buy it. So talked him into it, he bought it, got it home, and went through, basically just mechanically rebuild everything, engine, transmission, rear end. And the story is, the guy that we bought it from, he had done this truck in 1962. So the paint that you see on here is the paint from 1962 yet.
Wow.
So he kind of had it done up 60 style and had like the white interior and kind of the fuzzy, shaggy stuff. We tore that out, but the paint is still the same paint that he did in 1962. So we went through and changed some of the chrome and glass and whatnot, but the actual paint is what he had on there. So yeah, we had the engine rebuilt. This is raced down.
That actually makes me think of a question. And again, this may be obvious, but they're all 41 Fords.
Yep.
How interchangeable are body parts and things like that?
That's a good question. The fenders, the cabs, the bed, the wheels, everything, yeah, no problem. The rarity of this, and you can even see, if you look at this grill right here, this bar is moved forward, and this is your latch for the hood. So you have to have that grill to accommodate the radiator being further forward for the length of your engine. So you cannot easily, you couldn't put this 6-cylinder into that truck. It would not work. Even the front cross member is different. It dips down lower for the oil pan. So we had thoughts. We couldn't find a 6-cylinder. We're like, well, we'll just build our own. Well, it's hard to do. It's a different frame, different grill, different hood, and plus the engine and whatnot. But,
so on the 4-cylinder, the frame is the same as the 8s?
Yeah,
it's just the
those will
6-cylinder,
interchange. Those will interchange. This one is why I would say this one is more rare. It's a different transmission, like a 4-cylinder transmission. Get my facts right here. Will bolt to the V8, but not vice versa. This one is a special 6-cylinder transmission. So, knock on wood, we've had no problems with this one at Hill Climb, and it's still running good and working good. But like I said, there's a lot of unique parts to this truck. So thank goodness this was a complete, pretty solid truck.
Right.
We can walk around.
And this one was your dad's primary truck racing.
Yeah.
Recently, right?
Yeah. The story on that is he raced this down in Hill Climb probably maybe 1999. He raced it for a few years, and then I raced it for several years, and then we switched back again, and he ended up racing. So the last thing he raced in 2019 was this one.
This fellow is a former Hill record holder, probably held it more years than anybody else. Always glad to see him come back. The 1941 Ford with a flathead 6 engine in it. From Lowell, Indiana, number 392, the former Hill record holder, Mr. Hank Schleter. He'll show you how the 6-cylinder flies.
You were telling me the bed on this one is also the original bed.
Yeah. Another thing that is unique about this truck, for whatever reason, I think this truck was not really treated as a truck. Most trucks, and they were worked and they were used and rusted out and everything, but for whatever reason, most of them, the floor is just completely rusted out. This one is the actual, I believe, original metal floor yet. So every other truck in here, the floors have been replaced and whatnot, but this original steel floor and authentic. You can tell a reproduction bed versus a new bed, but this one is the original bed yet, and it had been in the barn since 1962. So before that, we don't know the story of it, but it was kind of, I think, babied a little bit and not treated like most trucks were. So.
Right. So we're looking at the 4-cylinder a little bit more, and I was just starting to wonder, like, when the trucks came out, did it go like Ford came out with the 4-cylinder, then later they came out with 6, then later 8, or did it? Then it was always an option.
That's a good question. In 41, for whatever year, for whatever reason, they wanted the 4-cylinder for something for economy. They used to have a smaller V8 called a 60 horse. They got rid of that, and so this was kind of the replacement. So in 41 and 42, you could get a 4-cylinder truck. You could even get a bigger truck, like a 3/4 or 1-ton truck with a 4-cylinder. Probably wouldn't haul much, but you could. Now the 6-cylinder was a mid-year production, so it came out the middle of 41, kind of why it's so rare. But then it continued. This series continued into 42. Then after the war, they still had 6 cylinders, a little bit different style, but they still had 6 cylinders going forward. But the 4-cylinder is just 41 and 42. So it's rare in that regards. They only did it for 2 years. But this one is rare for the 41 because it was a mid-year production. So like I said, that's why we've seen very few of them.
And then during the time they were doing that, were they also making the V8s?
Yeah, they had V8s, yeah.
That was also an option.
So in 41, you could get a 4, 6, or an 8.
Wow.
Matter of fact, the 40 truck was very similar. And on the back of a 40 truck on the tailgate, it says Ford V8. That's on the 40s. Then in 41, they're like, well, not every truck's a V8, so they change it. They just put the Ford in the center.
Okay.
So that's the difference between the two tailgates.
No, I never realized that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's cool. All right. So, speaking of fast V8s, why don't we talk about this beautiful thing here?
So, yeah, this one, another one out of Wisconsin. Actually, all 3 of these came out of Wisconsin. About 1997, we found this in Wisconsin. I believe it was August. And we put this thing together in about 6 weeks and got it ready for the hill climb. And I was just dating somebody at the time who turned out to be my lovely wife. And she helped me. There was mouse nests under the front seat, so we're pulling out mouse nests and changing fender. And I knew she was a keeper when she helped me with that. I gradually improved on the truck, made it be a little bit nicer, and took the dents out of the fender and stuff. But it's original, just Wisconsin truck, and it's got some rust on it. But it was basically built for hill climb, and it's the current record holder, like I say, 22.46 seconds.
Right.
So that's where we're at.
Are we allowed to show the engine as a top secret?
There's the engine. Everything's been tech approved and everything's good. So everything is the way it is. At hill climb, you have to have the single exhaust. You have to have the carburetor that it came with. It has to be to factory spec. So everybody gets stuck down there and make sure you're legit. The inside yet still retains the original, I think, kind of ugly green paint. But this is original paint on the inside.
Wow, look at that.
Kind of a hideous color green, I think, but that's original paint yet. And
so the exterior was this color when you originally got it?
It was kind of surface rust and kind of multicolor. That's why we kind of threw it into flat black. But yeah, this we haven't touched yet. It's kind of cool that Dad held the record in this vehicle, and I do now too. And
A soft spot for this truck.
yeah.
Why is that, Melissa?
Because that's like the story. He got this when we were.
That's when back in the days where you're young and in love.
Yeah.
Yes. This is what again?
The truck on the back is our restored black pickup truck sitting over here.
The one we're about to look at?
Yeah.
Okay, so we moved on from the race truck, and this is a truck that I don't even know if I've ever seen here yet.
It doesn't get out too much. We kind of save the best for last. This truck, I had Carl take a picture of what it looked like before when we bought it out in Nebraska. And it was pretty rough, rusty, and just an old farm truck. And it's had everything done to it. And Dad and I have spent 5 years restoring it. So it's about everything you could do has been done to it. And it's probably nicer than it was when it was new. The story, I'll try to make this quick, but in 2003, our car buddy, we call him Dr. Mark, he's a dentist, but he actually purchased a vehicle that was in the movie Gone in 60 Seconds. There's a big truck, it's a 47 Ford cabover. It says Hollowell's Garage on the door. It's in about 8 different scenes in the movie, really neat truck. So he purchased it in California. But he had no.
That's the one that's in this picture.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
And he had really no way of getting it home. It's a big truck, kind of hard to transport and stuff. So what he did is basically hire Dad and I to drive this vehicle home. And top speed was 52 miles an hour, I'd say. But we drove it home from California. About 5 days to get home, and coming through the desert when it's 120 and super hot. The engine is right there, basically on top of the cab on that motor. So super hot, but we survived. And the back is a rollback. I mean, you can put a vehicle on the back. So we kind of asked Dr. Mark before we did it, like, hey, if we find a truck out west someplace, can we haul it home? He's like, go ahead, do whatever you want to. So reading all the car books, trying to find something for sale. Finally, I find an ad, and it said 41 Ford pickup truck, and it was in Funk, Nebraska. So it had the phone number, called the phone number, and did not go through. Short version of the story is there was a misprint. It was the wrong phone number. So get the map out and we look and found this little town of Funk, Nebraska. So we kind of changed our route and we swung through this town. So we get to this town, Funk, Nebraska, population 200. So I said, well, we're going to find this truck. It's one of them towns, everybody's going to know each other. So pull in the gas station and the mechanic was working. I said, hey, is there anybody in this town that would have a 41 pickup truck? He said, yeah, it has to be so-and-so. So come out, and Dad's gassing up, and by God, the person that Dad was talking to outside is the guy we were looking for.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, him and his brother, they were farmers, and it was actually the other one, the brother had this truck. So made him a deal, and blah, 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 loaded the truck up, and hauled it all the way home from Funk, Nebraska. And then, like I say, Dad and I spent about 5 years restoring it. And it's raced down the hill climb 1 year. I drove down there 1 year, but other than that, it just kind of goes to a show now and then, and most part stays in the garage and looks good. But that's kind of the beauty of it too. We have trucks that you can take down the river, trucks that you can show, trucks that you can race. So kind of neat to have one of each and whatever you want. But this one came out real nice and not hill climb eligible anymore. It's got the 2 carburetors on it and dual exhaust and stuff. But we just wanted one that was our style and have fun and do what we want to. And like I said, we got a lot of good people in terms of engine builders and paint. And I was just showing Melissa and Kay a while back the paint. Our painter just did a phenomenal job. You look down the door, it looks like a mirror. Just unbelievable what he did. And like I said, it comes out and you got to drive them. So at least once a year we take it out and drive a little bit. But it's just something nice to have.
So the color you picked, I mean, is this an original color? Is it even with the interior?
This one's been altered. Like originally the seats would have been green. This one we're like, hey, we're gonna do what we want to, and the red seat and the red gear shift, and we almost painted the whole truck red. We had thoughts on that, but we did it in pieces, and it was black, and we could kind of work on it as we go. So we did that, but everything just came out beautiful on this truck.
That's gorgeous.
And the underside is as pretty as the top side. And like I say, it's fun to have trucks you can drive, which we do too, but then it's nice to have ones that are restored and take them to a show, do whatever we want to with. So like I said, kind of got one of each, and kind of neat to have that. It's been since 1987. Dad and I have been working on this collection, and Dad was the money, Dad was the finances, obviously, but I helped him with each and every one, so there's blood, sweat, and tears in all of them, and stories and memories and just good father-son projects. And just, the last vehicle Dad drove up the hill, like I say, in 2019 was a green truck, and then Hill Climb was canceled in 2020. But this year in 21, they had a lot of surprises for us, and they retired Dad's number. The last number he raced in a green truck was number 392 at the Hill Climb, so they retired Dad, and they went through and did a lot of research, and not only had Dad driven a green truck, but he has driven practically every truck in this garage. He's driven them up the hill. But they went through and made a list of...
Say driven, competed?
Yeah, competed, driven up the hill, so they made a list of kind of all the different vehicles he had, and when he set a record, he set 12 different records. So, I mean, I set one in 2010, but he set 12 different records in several different vehicles. But they retired his number, surprised us that, had a lot of Lions members, a lot of our friends sign it, and they gave it to us. So we're going to hopefully frame this and hang it in our building in Newport, and
Right. What year? How many years have you guys been going down there?
Oh, pretty much since I've been born. So I'm 47 now, so pretty much about 47 years. And his first year down there, he spectated, and then he had to borrow a Buick from his friend Bob Tubbs, and he got the bug. He got hooked. And
that's usually what happens.
Yeah, and to kind of connect the stories, the reason we got into 41 pickup trucks is we did the research and learned that a 41 pickup truck had a 4-cylinder. Well, you have a 4-cylinder in a different class, and maybe you can do well and win and get a trophy, whatever.
Once
so we
again,
looked.
The Willys for the win. Right?
That's right. That's right. So that kind of started us, and the first couple trucks we had were the 4-cylinder trucks. And we got the bug. They're like, oh, these are neat trucks, and found out they had a 6-cylinder. So we got a 6-cylinder and obviously some V8. So with the Hill Climb is to blame or give credit to basically the collection of the trucks. So kind of worked out.
All right, so I don't even know what to say. I'm just kind of overwhelmed with all these awesome trucks and learning stories that I didn't even know about half of them. So I just appreciate Heath taking the time to share all that with me and especially you guys and talking about the stories, the time he spent with his father, building them, even chasing them down, you know, like the trip to California. Yeah. I mean, what a great experience that is, right?
Yeah,
so
great memories.
And to have those memories. So I don't know if you have any kind of closing words.
Appreciate you coming up here. Anytime, you're welcome, and come back again. Maybe we'll change the scenery and show you some other vehicles in the collection, and make it be part 2. So
I like that idea. There's some other ones we definitely want to add. So it's not just the truck garage. So
yeah, there's more to it.
Yeah. So again, give thumbs up for Heath for taking the time to share all this so much, and give a comment down below what you think of these things, all that fun stuff. And until the next time, we'll see you. Woo! What are we going to say?
I don't know.
All right, this is the outtakes.
The outtakes, yeah.
I've got to get my sister-in-law in here somehow, right? She's kind of being shy off on the side, so we got to get her on here just so we can have. Then we're down to one sister to have on here.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
somehow, sister power.
that one's going to be the challenge. She's a little bit more camera shy, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have to, you know what all his sisters are like, so.
Yeah, we do.
All the boys
I'll just gonna leave it there. For the record, I did ask Heath for a 3/16 wrench to take the head off of that truck, but he wouldn't let me. He said it's top secret. This is my sister-in-law, Melissa. And just before she even says, no, you don't have anything in your teeth.
This is probably.
Oh, wait, who's here? Look who it is. Hey, girls.
They're going sledding.
We're taking over the garage and the girls are going sledding, so. Here's another tech tip from Heath. You need to deal with a rattle. Just shove a rag or something.
If you got a rag in there, that's a perfect anti-rattle device. So just do that.
That's been your 41 Garage and Grill tech tip. So we're looking at the rat rod truck, and I was just reminded of a great story that I'm going to let Melissa share here.
Okay, so we're bringing the rat truck home from Newport.
We're driving it.
Driving it,
Yeah.
right. I was driving the family truck, if that's what you want to say.
Yeah.
You're driving this one because I don't know how to drive a stick shift. And
Kay does, though. Good.
Yeah, Kay does. Anyway, so taking the back roads home like we always do, and it started to overheat or something.
Yeah. What went wrong?
I don't know.
The water pump went out.
The water pump went out. It wouldn't go. That's all I know.
It went but a little hot.
So we're pulling over. Didn't even have to pull over because it was a country road.
Yeah,
and Heath's like, we got to tow it home. And I'm like, oh crap, it's just me. And so he gets the stuff and he's like, this is all. He gets the tow rope And what do you have to do?
Mind you, this is like not like 2 blocks away, right? This is
This is like an hour or more.
Yeah, probably 80 miles or so to come back home.
80 miles to go home. And so Heath's like, listen, just do this and do that, and don't worry about it. I'm like, okay.
She never towed anything ever before in her life ever, and I gave her a crash course, and bottom line, she did perfect. Perfect. Yeah. By the time we got home, it was dark, it was raining, it was nasty, but she did perfect. Chain never hit the ground once like we're supposed to do, and it was perfect.
Nice.
I might have blown through a couple stop signs.
we won't talk about that.
I was like, no one's coming. There was one in particular where we're going down this really long road, and it just went downhill. We got to the bottom. I don't even think I knew that there was a stop sign. I just went right through it.
Stop even if you wanted to.
Yeah, no stopping. But luckily, like I said, it was back roads.
So you're saying some laws were violated, but not many.
Not the tow rope laws.